Hey everyone, it's Jonathan. Welcome to the third of our four-part series ranking all the animated films of 2024. If you missed the previous episodes, this year I'm doing things a bit differently, and instead of one podcast with Katie Fabrick ranking all the animated movies we saw last year at once, I invited several creators to join me for a mini-series giving their own favorite films from 2024. So far, Trivial Theater, Mark Brown, Stanford Clark, and Rachel Wagner have joined me. In the previous episodes, we gave our top 3, and today Katie is back, and we decided to open it up a bit more and do our top 5. This will likely be Katie's last podcast for a while. She's taking some time away from the internet to focus more on her own art and animation, but hopefully we'll see her again in the future, especially if she gets involved with another animated film. If you missed the episode we did talking about the short she helped work on, make sure to check that out, and of course watch the short itself, Cat and Moth. Next time I'll be joined for one final episode with Larry Chilson and Eli Sanza, but until then, here are our top 5 animated films of 2024 with Katie Fabrick. Okay, thanks for joining me. I know you're super busy these days, so it's great that you
Yay.
were able to take some time to do a segment with me.
Yeah. I feel like I only watched amazing movies. So like this is
That's
my
good.
top 10, but top 5, sorry. But they're all like really good. Like given the year, these all could have been a number 1.
Yeah, yeah, there were a bunch of good ones last year, and I haven't even watched all the ones that are supposed to be really good. By the time I
Yeah.
put out my final episode, hopefully I will. Hopefully this list will change. I have my top 5 right now, but we'll see if it stays my top 5 by the time I get to putting out the episode.
Yeah. I like write down like them all and I'm like, okay, now how do I rearrange these? And they usually like change like
Mm-hmm.
4 or 5 times. I
Yeah.
feel pretty confident in my ordering though. Although like some I'm like on the day like that I'm gonna go sit down and watch a movie, I'd be like, but this one's actually number 2 as opposed to 3 today because I really feel like this kind of movie.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's why I don't usually do a ton of ranking videos. This is like
Yeah.
my one big exception every year. Because like I always have a terrible time ranking things. I always feel like it changes on a whim.
Yeah, exactly. Like I know that at times when we've been doing this, I will be like getting to the top and I'll be like, you know what, actually I'm changing it whilst we're talking. It's
Yes.
like that one gets moved today because it's special.
Uh-huh. Well, for my list, since I'm going to be doing this with a bunch of other people, I'm going to keep our list to only animation because I have other things that like hybrids and things, but I've
Oh yeah.
decided for you and me, I'm just going to only rank animation.
Cool.
So I have my top 5 animated movies from last year, and then I'll probably talk about some hybrid stuff with some other people.
That sounds good. I didn't watch much hybrid stuff, so none of that's on my list. Although I do want to watch Paddington, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. I still haven't seen the first two. People have been telling me for years that I need to watch
Oh,
Paddington, and I still
you would
haven't.
love Paddington.
That's what people tell me, and it looks cute after the first trailer. Because the reason I never saw it when it first came out, because the trailer looked so terrible, the very
Yeah,
first trailer.
it's one of those shows where I think the trailers lean into the comedic aspect. So
Mm,
they like really sell it like, oh, this is like those Peter Rabbit movies that came out
oh
and
yeah,
but they're nothing like those. Like not shaming those Peter Rabbit movies if you like them. I haven't seen them, I can't judge them, but
I
I'm
haven't
not
either.
you yeah, I'm not usually it looks like not my thing, but
Yeah,
I don't usually go for the CG sidekick with the human. And like I think the only ones that I have enjoyed have been Paddington and the Sonic movies, but I
yeah.
kind of argue that the Sonic movies might not be like the best movies. I just have a lot of fun with them.
I feel the same way. Like they're entertaining enough to watch, but like they're not ones that are like I must rewatch this at times. Like it's
Yeah,
a
I mean,
mostly one and done for me.
yeah, like I've seen all of them multiple times because they are like if you got a good group of friends that
Hmm.
are either fans of Sonic or they're not fans of Sonic. Okay, if they hate Sonic, probably don't watch these movies with them. It's not going to change their minds. but like I have a friend who does not like Sonic, and that's completely fair. I would never force him to watch these movies and be like, this will change your mind forever. You will
Hmm.
love Sonic the Hedgehog because he is in this movie. No, but I think they're a lot of fun. I guess I did watch, I forgot Sonic 3 came out last year. I watched that one a lot actually because I couldn't watch it all with the like my group the in a group, so I had to like watch it individually with like a ton of different people. So like I saw that movie 3 times in theaters
Oh, wow.
because of how it all played out, and I'm like, this is amazing because it was just fun, and I loved every single time, depending on like who knew the lore of Sonic the Hedgehog, what I could lie about with the after credit scene, because I'm just like, oh, too bad they can't pay for Keanu Reeves anymore. He's gone forever. And one of my friends got so mad because she believed me, and she was like yelling at me out the door, like, I can't believe you lied to me about that. And I'm just like, yeah. So yeah, but that's a really good movie. It's not on my list because I forgot it came out, but it's also a hybrid movie. So
Yeah. That one, I think it might be my favorite of the three Sonic movies. It's again, it's not one
yes.
that I wouldn't see it 3 times in the theater, but like I think it was probably my favorite of the three.
Yeah, I think that it has the most like plot going on.
Yeah.
I do still have like moments. I probably have said this before. I'm not a Jim Carrey person. I he scared me as a child. That trauma is still real.
I feel like we've
Uh
talked about this before.
yeah, but you know, I will put up with him for those movies.
Yeah.
This and yes, the third one had 2 of him, which which was kind of the worst, but you know.
He did really well with his dual role though.
Yes, he did. I had fun with the movie. But I like to say that I like those movies despite uh, Jim Carrey. I kind of hope he doesn't come back though. I'm a little tired of him dying at the end of every movie and then coming back. They keep
That is true.
giving me false hope that he'll stop showing up. But he's probably gonna be back because they give him so much money.
I feel like he's said that he loves doing it because he has fun, so he'll probably
Yeah,
just keep coming back.
yeah, I guess. Guys, how much longer are you gonna tease me? I've actually been gone. I would like, okay, despite my dislike for Jim Carrey though, I would like to see like a new villain. Like, what would they do with that, or if it even could work? Because with the Sonic franchise, there are a couple other villains, and like, if depending on how like deep into the lore of Sonic you want to go, which I won't, but like I won't touch upon like comic books or anything like that because those get crazy, and depending on which continuity. Anyway, I would be curious. Like, Dr. Eggman's usually the villain. Like, he's always back in each game,
Hmm.
but like there has been other like antagonists, but Dr. Eggman's usually there. But it would be interesting to see a different antagonist. Like, what would you do? Like, there's a lot of exploration you can do, but also with Metal Sonic being introduced, who is usually a creation by Dr. Eggman. I think Dr. Eggman will probably be in the next movie.
Probably.
But anyways, that's a lot of talk over Sonic 3, even though it's not on our list.
Yeah.
That's my review of Sonic 3, even though I barely talked about Sonic 3. I thought it was silly. Oh, I think here's my complaint. I'll do my one complaint. I think that there should have been more needle drops from the video games that I was pulling from, because those songs are
Mm,
banger.
yeah.
And the little moment that they had one of the songs from the movie was kind of ruined. I actually, this is my like one of the best and my least favorite scene in the movie, because I didn't care for, you get Supersonic and Super Shadow and it's super cool. The song kicks in. You're like, Oh yeah, and then it immediately smash cuts to Jim Carrey spanking Jim Carrey, and I'm like, you've ruined the moment. Could the moment not have lived? And then they go back like nothing happened, and I'm like, no, you've killed the mood. You could have cut back to that after the whole fight scene. But why did you shove it in the middle? It felt so awkward. I didn't care for that. So it knocks down a star. It's only a 10 out of 10 movie. But anywho, I digress. Let's talk about some animated films.
Well, I'll start, and that way you'll have the final one we talk about.
The final one. Okay.
So my number 5, I have Robot Dreams.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. I really want to.
This one was what I kind of thought it was going to end up being higher. I think, I'm not going to do like spoilers or anything. It had a bit of a bittersweet ending.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't love the ending. I felt like we needed more. So that maybe that's a plus or a minus. It kind of just ended, and it felt like the story could keep going. And I've heard that the director wants to keep going with the story.
Mm.
So there is potential to do more. I just kind of wished that there was more.
Yeah, I get that. That's kind of where my fifth one is also. That's kind of like the reason why that one was at number 5 as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I hope they make more.
Yeah.
That would be cool because I really like. I mean, I love robots. You can put a robot in a thing, and I'll be like, "This is the best thing in the world."
Yeah. It was very cute. It had great animation.
Yeah.
It's like almost like it's not a silent film, but it sometimes has that vibe. It's so much more unique than a lot of American animated movies usually are.
Yeah.
It's not like a star-studded cast, like get the names for the poster. This is just a simple movie, and it's super creative. I really liked it.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to watch it when I find it available to me. I think it's on DVD. I could probably get the DVD somewhere. I feel like I would enjoy it enough that I would warrant owning a DVD.
Yeah. I bought it sight
Because
unseen because it was recommended multiple times to me, so.
yeah, and like I like collecting animation as well. So like even if it's not a movie that I'm like, I mean it's number 5 definitely, but like that's already very high. But I feel like just owning animation, like I'm just like, yep, I'm gonna do that because
Yeah.
it's an animated movie, and like you
Hmm.
don't get a lot of international films on DVDs in America. So
Well, what do you have for your number 5?
So my number 5 was America's number 1. My number 5 is Flow.
Oh, okay. I have not
I,
seen Flow yet. I
I
want to see it.
yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really pretty. It's a silent film. There's no talking in it, which I don't know why. I thought I saw a trailer with like the cat talking in a really annoying voice, and I'm like, oh no, how did that win an Oscar? But no, it's completely silent. I really enjoyed it. I think the only reason it's number 5, it's one of those movies where because it's silent and because it's kind of like it's about animals, so like they're not doing like human things, which is completely fine. I think all the animals were really cool and the animation was amazing again. But I felt like it kind of like this, I don't want to say it didn't explain a lot because I'm sure that's a criticism it gets all the time where they're like, they didn't tell us anything. What does that mean? And I love films that like leave it up to you kind of like not knowing. Like you're like, oh, what did that mean? I don't know. And they're not gonna tell us, but that's okay because you gotta get to like think about it.
Hmm.
And you get and I've enjoyed a lot of movies like that. I just felt like, and this is not a bad thing, but it felt like, when like animated shorts get put up on YouTube and they've been to like film festivals, you're like, that was really interesting. I didn't get it, but that was cool. And then it was that for an entire movie, and you're like, cool. I kind of felt like I would have gotten a bit better because it was longer than 20 minutes, but that's okay. Like, it was still really pretty, and the animals were adorable. There are lemurs in the movie. I really liked the
Mm.
lemurs. They were really cool. I liked that they kind of went with, you're like, oh, it's about a cat. And you're like, oh, okay. And then they kind of went for like different animals that you don't really see as much, like lemurs and
Mm-hmm.
like these strange birds and stuff. So, like, it was very good. I feel like it didn't quite do it for me. Like, I don't know. It's hard to like describe because like I feel like it's probably going to get a lot of criticism of, oh, it didn't do anything, oh, it's not saying anything, oh, it's too long, too short, or whatever. And I don't want to be that person because that's not what I think it's with it. It just feels like to me that like I don't know if it's saying something or not, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Or if things are just happening, which is also a fair thing to do in a movie, but I couldn't quite tell. And I think that was why it wasn't a little bit higher. It kind of felt like just a very pretty movie, and that was kind of what it was for. Which is also okay. But I think that just that's the reason why it went down lower for me than the other ones because I kind of like I found myself laughing with the other movies or like having stronger emotions than just kind of sitting there peacefully with these animals. And that was also fun. But it kind of
Mm-hmm.
gave me like nature documentary vibes, but without the voiceovers, which is fine with me. Honestly, sometimes I don't need the voiceover on
Yeah.
nature documentary films. I'm like,
Sometimes
be
nature
quiet. I want to watch
documentaries,
the animals.
yes, exactly. I was just going to say, sometimes nature documentaries would be improved without a voiceover.
Exactly. So, like, honestly, I'm glad there was no voiceover. That would have probably not made it a very good movie. But I did kind of like it felt like a chill hangout with some animals, and that was I don't want to say that's it because it sounds so like demeaning, but that kind of was it, and that's amazing that
Mm-hmm.
it got to be that way, and it also got to get all the way up and like become an Oscar winner
Yeah.
without like catering to audiences
Mm-hmm.
and putting in big voice actors, which I have no problem with if the actors are good at the role that they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
which will come up in one of my videos later. But well, one of my movies. But yeah, it was really interesting, and it's such a win for an indie animation film to
Yeah.
be a winner. Like it was animated in Blender, which is a free animation thing. So like that's pretty darn amazing that
Yeah.
it looks that good and the animals move that well and it got that high, in films and all that. So that's really cool.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what I end up thinking about it because I I like movies that are just vibes sometimes, like Fantasia is one of my favorite films.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if it means something to me or if I just like it for the vibes. I have no idea where it's going to end up on my list because I've heard like some people absolutely love it. It's their number one film, and then others are like, meh. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see from both sides why it would be that way. The cat is very cute too. So if you're a cat
Yeah,
person,
I
that
am.
cat, that cat is carrying you through that movie. That is such a cute cat.
Yeah.
It's very realistic. And it makes little mews and you're like, "Oh, someone help the kitty."
Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it. I ordered a copy of it, but it has not yet arrived, and I don't know if it will before I put out this episode, but if it gets too close to me needing to be finalizing this episode, then I'm just going to order a month of HBO Max
Yeah.
so I can watch it. Well, my number four is not quite a movie. I think it's like a half hour special from Disney Plus, an almost Christmas story.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've heard
This,
of that one.
yeah, well, I already talked about it on a podcast because I did a bunch of different Disney Plus Christmas movies by Alfonso Cuarón because that
Uh-huh.
was his third one that he'd done for Disney Plus. His first animated, the others were not animated. But this one was so cute and so creative. It is such a unique looking movie. It's stop motion, but it's like they made everything. maybe out of cardboard. Like it doesn't look like a typical stop motion like claymation or like 3D printed models. It feels like they made everything out of cardboard. Like maybe the character faces aren't, but like the things in the background, it feels like a handmade set. Like it's so unique in the world of stop motion because it doesn't look like they tried to make everything look perfect. It looks handmade, and I think that is such a cool. I wish more movies would do that, to be honest, because it's so different than trying to make the most cool, polished, finished, complete, perfect movie.
Yeah.
I kind of like the handmade aesthetic.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what I feel like. That's why like that brings a certain humanity to animation and stuff.
Hmm. Plus, this is about a little owl, and I love owls, so
Oh,
it is the cutest little bird. Definitely highly recommend that one if you haven't seen it. It should add it to your Christmas watch list.
yeah. It looks so cute. I don't know how I missed that one.
Yeah, definitely worth watching. What is your number four?
So my number four is Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Most Foul.
Okay. That one I don't have on my list because it's one of those that's kind of like, is it 2024? Is it 2025? I decided I would save it for next year for me. So it's not on my list,
Okay.
but it would be way high on my list if it was.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is so good.
Yeah, no. I find it so funny that like if you watch the Wallace and Gromit shorts, like the original ones, like the very first one is just like we're going to the moon, and then the moon is cheese.
Yes.
And then like yeah, you've got the one with the penguin, which is like oh we gotta catch the penguin, he's a thief, and you're like that's amazing. Like they're all so funny, and I love them. But I love how the Wallace and Gromit movies are all like basically horror movies. It's like why are they all horror movies? It's so like I love Curse of the Were Rabbit. That's one of my favorite Halloween movies. Like that's like one of my favorite scary movies, quote unquote. But like I'm watching it and I'm like I never watched any of the trailers. So I had no idea what was happening except for the penguin was back. And I'm like, what is this creepy gnome? Why is this so creepy? And then like just more of them come along and I'm like, I hate these gnomes. They're horrible. And I think like what makes them really creepy is that as opposed to like watching a different animated horror movie of some kind, those things are technically real. And so it just adds to the creepiness that there's actual creepy little Norbots living in the same world as me. That's pretty cursed, but it was really great. I loved it. I think one of the things is I felt like Wallace was a little mean to Gromit in this movie.
Yeah.
I
The
was like,
automatic
oh,
pat machine. That was
yeah,
so...
like how rude. I know like that was like the lesson and like and the impact of him getting actual pats at the end of the film, you know, and all that. But I was like, Wallace, you're being really mean this movie. You're so rude. I don't know if I can like you. I can because it's Wallace, but and he's like, honestly, I think that Wallace and Gromit are my favorite Artemin like thing. It's so weird. The art style's so like almost cursed. And like the way that they move and get like squashed and stretched, and Wallace has his creepy grin if you think about it, but I just love them for their absolute unhinged weirdness. And it's just it's very whimsical and like just very British.
Yes.
And I love that like it has like it also like is kind of like nostalgic because of like Thomas the Tank Engine growing up, and like it's just that very like I guess like countryside England vibes that I'm just like I have never lived in England. I've never been to England, and I've definitely never been to, you know, like the countryside of England, but like it's weirdly nostalgic because of media I watched as a child. And I love that they carried that on in the Wallace and Gromit movie, and it still felt like Wallace and Gromit and not a returns, but it's new and improved, and you're like, no, it's not. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was really funny. I laughed a lot. I almost cried because if you're gonna make Gromit cry, I'm gonna cry. Because Gromit's so cute. And then he
Yeah.
walks on his four legs, and you're like, oh, that's weird. This movie's Wallace and Gromit is kind of terrified if you think about it too hard.
Yeah, that one's very good. I obviously haven't made my list for next year yet, but I'm sure it's going to be high on my list.
Yeah.
Well, my number 3, it'll be interesting to see where this ends up on yours, because I'm sure if you watched it, it's going to be high on your list.
Mm-hmm.
Transformers 1.
Yay! Ah, it's so good.
I really liked that movie. Like, I am not a Transformers person. I remember watching some of the shows when I was a kid. I remember watching Beast Wars when it came out.
Nice.
I don't remember the characters. I just remember watching it. I watched some clips more recently, and I was like, this is not what I remembered. I do not remember how bad it looked.
Cursed. It's so cursed. Like, I didn't watch it as a child, and like, but I'm like, I have to watch it because 3 reasons. 1, I love Transformers. 2, there's a monkey transformer. I love that. And 3, it's actually the very first 3D animated television show. So I'm like, well, as an animation fan, I have to watch that. And oh my gosh, it is so creepy. They move so weird. It's so weird. And like, the transformations from animals to robots are so cursed. I like, there's a rhinoceros and his head splits in half in his transformer. And you're like, that's so creepy. Why did you think that was a good idea? But yes, Transformers 1 is so good.
Yeah, I really liked it. I don't think if I've seen any other Transformers movie, it might be the first live action one, but I don't remember it, so I don't think I ever watched the whole thing. I've had people who love Transformers warn me off of them, so
you're better off.
Probably. But I really liked this. It's definitely worth watching, even if you're not like super into Transformers. It's just a really good movie.
Yeah.
I feel like sci-fi animation is kind of rare, and this is a really good example of sci-fi animation.
Yes. I like watch like clips and stuff of it occasionally, and I'm just like, technically as well, like the technological part of it, you're just like, wow, how did they do that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just so like impressive. Yeah. Especially from a studio that had never made an animated movie before. Like, I'm sure it's like outsourced to studios and stuff that I don't know who they went to, and I'm sure they've worked on animated movies and stuff. But like, just it's not Disney, it's not DreamWorks, it's not Pixar, it's not Sony.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy that like it looked as good as it did.
Mm-hmm. It's nice that other studios are getting more exposure these days.
Yeah, like we have different like voices and different like takes. Like not every movie is a Disney movie anymore, and they don't all look like Disney and like, you know, studios are starting to experiment with styles more, because like DreamWorks movies don't all look the same. They like they all look basically different, which is awesome. Yeah. But I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Yeah. It's always great like hearing when people enjoy that movie, because like I'm like, am I biased? I'm probably biased. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you are a fan of Transformers, so you are a bit biased, but it was actually a good movie.
Yes. I will talk more about my feelings when we get to it, because
I figured you'd have it higher than
I have so many feelings.
Well, what do you have for number 3?
So my number 3 is Ultraman Rising.
Oh, okay.
On Netflix. I love Ultraman. Specifically the original show. Not particularly because it's good. But I don't hold a fault to it for that, because it was very low budget. But the original show is basically, if someone was like, you know, original Godzilla, what if he was a dude in a bodysuit instead? And he punched Godzilla suits, but we like spray paint them a different color and added a frill. and they like fight for like 5-10 minutes, and then either one of them it like loses, so like Ultraman will fly away if he's like losing, or the monster will explode. And oh my gosh, it's amazing. There's not a lot of plot going on in the original series because it's basically just villain of the week kind of thing, monster of the week, and it's wonderful and I love it. So when like this movie was announced, I was super excited. I found out it was by Shannon Tyndall, who was the Kubo and Two Strings director originally before Travis Knight took over, but they were the person who like came up with the idea for Kubo and Two Strings. And I'm like, yes. And they also made I forget exactly the rabbit show on Netflix. Ollie, I think is what's called. I think it's called Ollie. It's like a live action hybrid show that I didn't watch, but I saw like clips and it looked really cute. I didn't watch it because it also looked really sad.
I might know what you're talking about, but I never saw that. So
yeah, it's like about a little plush rabbit named Ollie.
okay.
And it looks so cute, and I do need to watch it. But no, Ultraman Rising is really really good. It's really pretty.
Is that the one where there's like a baby bird dinosaur thing?
Yes, the baby bird kaiju.
I, is it like the second movie in the franchise? I know it's like I know it's like a sequel to a show, but I didn't know if the other show was like canon to this. I don't know anything about Ultraman. I just have seen a couple
Yep.
trailers.
So this is its own thing. And you don't really need to know anything from the original because they kind of change the Ultraman lore. So like in the original, he's like an alien who's come to help from a different planet to help fight off kaiju. And in this, they basically work like people with superpowers, where it's like he just transforms into Ultraman. They don't really explain how, they don't explain why, he just can.
Okay.
So it's like his superpower, basically. And I think they did that because it was more like it was easier for people to get into without having watched Ultraman. Like they're like, we're not going to expect you to have seen Ultraman. Anything
Which is
else?
probably a good idea.
Yeah. But no, it was really sweet. It was really fun. I had a lot more emotions with it than I thought I was gonna have because, like I said, I watched the original Ultraman, and the only emotion I have is side-splitting laughter when Ultraman laughs at the kaiju and calls it stinky, which is ridiculous. And you're like, this is Godzilla, Ultraman. What is going on? And it's like obviously people in suits, but it's so silly. And like I couldn't even start explaining like how they get rid of some of these monsters. And like the way that Ultraman flies is he just has his hands like straight out and he just flies like that. But the way he like takes off and lands is the same thing, just played in reverse. And it's wonderful. Like, it's so silly and tacky. And I liked how Ultraman Rising, whilst like it's not as tacky and like silly, it does still like draw from those elements and is obviously a love letter to Ultraman because like everyone who worked on it were big Ultraman fans. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I wouldn't say the story is like the most original thing you've ever seen, but you know, that's kind of how most movies are. They usually fall into tropes and other stories. You've seen it before. But I thought it had a lot of heart and all the performances were good and it was a lot of fun. And I think people should watch it because I don't think it got a lot of attention because people were like, who's this Ultraman? I don't know who that is. And so they kind of just like brushed it off. I think the trailers were also not great. I don't think Netflix makes very good trailers for their animated movies. Unless it's like, I think that like Mitchell versus Machines had a pretty decent trailer. But even their trailers, like I was like, oh no, this is going to be like bad jokes all the time, and it didn't really tell you what the plot was, especially like the original. And I'm like, oh no, this is just going to be a phones are bad, put them down and spend family time. Like that was
Yeah.
the what I thought the original movie like trailers were telling me it was, and I'm like, that doesn't look good. I
Yeah.
mean, like I was like, and the style's so interesting, but this is the movie you choose to make, and but it wasn't that, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time. And I think that Netflix just they are making trailers and they're really emphasizing on jokes because they're hoping that they can capture people who just are like, I'm going to turn on a movie for my child, and then they can get the views
Yeah.
of like just like kids like parents turning movies on for kids instead of actually selling the movie.
Yeah.
Because like another one of my favorite anime movies, mainly because it plays into my special interests, but Netflix is The Monkey King. Those
Hmm.
trailers aren't great, and they are not good. I will say that. Like, I remember seeing the trailer and I'm like, I am so excited for this movie, and I think this looks bad. I was so worried because I'm like, this looks like garbage. I thought the trailers were so bad. I'm like, I could tell that they cut it up too because like the lip sync was completely
Hmm.
off. And because they would just play a scene with a completely different line,
Yeah.
and you're like, what is going on? What is there's no plot in this film. This is just a joke over joke and annoying voice line after annoying voice line. But then when you actually watch the movie, you're like, wait a minute, this actually has plot and character and decent and like really good animation and great music, and you find yourself just having the blast. And I think
Hmm.
that's kind of what a lot of Netflix animation is that like you don't know what you're getting into because they market it like
Yeah.
um terribly, and then when you actually go to watch the movie you're like, wait a minute, this is like a hidden gem.
Hmm.
Like they purposely buried it, but it's amazing. And I think Ultraman Rising kind of gets that rep because it has a unique art style and I really enjoyed it. And I liked that the main character kind of sucked at the beginning. Like he was like very selfish, and then he was
Hmm.
like, oh no, I'm a dad now, I have to think of other people. And I liked that it was a lot about family, like a lot of anime movies are now, especially about like your relationship with your parents, which is not a bad thing. And I like that a lot of times when people make movies like that, it's all been slightly different takes because it's like they're pulling from their own experiences, I think. And I think that's fun. That it's
Hmm.
like kind of a trope right now to be like, oh, generational trauma and parents and stuff. But like everyone has their own spin to it. So like Mitchell's vs. Machines feels nothing like, Ultraman Rising, or even to extent Luca or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
so I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think people should give it a shot. I also do know that I do understand extent with Ultraman Rising that it is kind of my thing, and it might not work for everyone, but because it's not the most original film, but it's a lot of fun. And I think there's some pretty good and beautiful moments. Like basically goes a Pacific Rim at the end of the movie, and you're like, whoa, like
Okay, now you're
I
really selling it to me specifically.
yeah. I mean, yeah, because Pacific Rim is amazing. And like there's a slight tease for a sequel. I'm hoping. I'm also cautious though because the director is currently making a John Wick movie. So,
Hmm.
boo. No. Yes, it's going to be animated, but boo. I don't want John Wick. I want Ultraman.
They're making an animated John Wick movie?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
That
You can't make
seems
me watch
random.
John Wick. I refuse.
I've never seen any John Wick.
I know. I can't. Pretty much because of why John Wick becomes John Wick. I do
Oh,
not like
yes.
animal violence. And I get it, and I'm glad people enjoy it. It's just not for me, and I probably won't watch the animated movie unless like it looks like. That's annoying though because the director's so good at making films. I don't want to think about it anymore because I'm probably gonna watch it.
Yeah, I had no idea that was even a thing, so I guess I'll see what it looks like before I decide whether I'm going to watch it or
Yeah, it's
not.
definitely gonna be really violent,
Yeah.
but Who knows? I have watched stuff that I would definitely never watch if it wasn't animated in animation. So,
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Like Primeval. I would not watch that if it was live action.
oh my gosh, can you imagine?
Well, for my number two, I kind of hope it's not on your list because I hope you have my number one on your list. And I know one of your top two is going to end up being Transformers 1. But for my number two,
Yes.
I have Inside Out 2.
Ah, yeah, I haven't seen that.
Okay. It is so much better than I thought it was going to be. Like, it's one of those things where, like, it's not been like an extremely, it's not like Disney direct-to-video sequels used to be where it was like 40 years later they're making a sequel. So this isn't that
Yeah.
bad, but it's long enough from the original that I was like, is this a good idea? You know,
yeah.
like I was prepared for the worst, hoping for the best, and it ended up being very good. I really liked it. I thought they made the new characters make sense.
Yeah.
Like that was another thing I was afraid of. Like they established five emotions, which I mean, I already thought that wasn't quite enough in the original, so it makes sense that they would add more, but they had established like everybody has these five. But they made the new ones make sense. Like the way they incorporated them into the movie made sense. It worked for the story, and I really liked the direction they took the movie. It was a lot better than I was afraid it was going to be.
That's cool. I do need to watch it. I remember it coming out in theaters, and I was like, "Am I gonna watch this?" And I'm like, "I don't know." Like, I was a little sequeled out at that point, and I'm
Hmm.
like, I've been a little sequeled out, unfortunately, with
I mean, who
Disney
isn't these
films.
days?
Yeah, it's either a sequel or a remake. But so I was kind of like, you know what? Two other movies were about to come out that I was way more excited to see that weren't sequels or remakes. So I kind of like was like, I'll wait and I'll get to it when I feel, like I feel like I need to be in a like, all right, let's do this Inside Out
Hmm.
too. And I've been trying to catch up with movies, so I haven't gotten to that mood yet. But I do
Yeah.
need to watch it because it seems probably at the worst just not my thing. But I do think it's cool that one of their more original movies got a sequel.
Yeah. I mean, if any of their movies deserved a sequel, like this one had a world that they could expand on, and I think they did a
Yeah.
really good job expanding on that world.
Yeah.
Well, what is your number two? We'll see if it's what I think it is.
Okay, so my number two is one of the movies that I didn't see Inside Out for. Is Wild Robot.
That's my number one, so we'll just both
Yeah.
talk about it.
Oh my gosh. So yes, Wild Robot is so good. I love
Yes,
Wild Robot.
it was amazing.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. I love everything about it. I don't know, just everything. Like it's just so good.
The art
There's,
style is so unique
oh,
and
it's
cool. It's
so
it's
pretty.
almost like a painting, but it's CGI.
Yeah.
But they've just done such a good job making it look beautiful.
Yeah.
Like I know other studios have made things look beautiful before, but this is beautiful in a different way. It really looks so artistic.
Yeah, like you can tell that they're like pulling from the stuff they built for Puss in Boots too.
Hmm. Yeah.
But they're doing it slightly different. Like the bears
Yeah.
don't look the same as the bears in Puss in Boots too. Like there's still a slight difference of art style going on there.
Yeah, and Puss in Boots is more it has a bit more of a graphic-y style, and this is more
Yeah,
painterly.
yeah. But oh my gosh. And like that I guess that is a good example of high named voice actors, like
That was my
celebrity
big
cast
fear
voice
going
actors.
in, because like
Yeah,
I think the original trailer didn't have the voices, and I was like,
yeah. It was just like
this,
a little short trailer, and then at
yeah.
the end, it slams you with like Mark Hamill, Pedro Pascal, and you're like, oh, who's all the? Oh no, so many names. They keep going.
In the final product, I'm totally fine with the voices. They worked really well for this story. I
Yes.
still someday hope for a fully, I mean, maybe Flow is this, but like a movie without voices. Like something like this, telling a story that you fully understand while not having any voices, letting the sound design do the talking, letting the music do the talking. I
Yeah.
want more stuff like that. We don't get enough of it. So
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with the way they did this movie. It worked so well. I loved this movie. No notes, but maybe
Uh-huh.
for a future movie, DreamWorks could think about giving us with something without a bunch of celebrities.
Yeah, no, I get you. It's funny because the movie's based off a book
Yes, which I need
called
to read. I bought it after I watched the movie.
Yes. So I bought it before the movie came out because I'm like, I'm gonna read the book before I watch the movie. I don't usually do that, but at the time I was at a job that was so boring and I literally could read books. I read the whole book in a day because my job was that boring. But it's very different. And like going into the movie, like I'm like, all right, obviously it's gonna be different. That's how movies work. But
Hmm.
honestly, like what I loved about it is that like they have the same point, I guess.
Hmm.
But they tell the way they get to that point and the way they tell the story is very different.
Hmm.
Like the movie is very painterly, but it has a lot of like big moments, like Bright Bill leading the pack while they're all caught in the farm, or like Roz building a runway and like the whole flying montage. There's a lot of those big moments in the movie, and then like the final fight scene.
Hmm.
And in the original book, there are big moments. There's still them beating evil robots at the end of the movie, but I don't want to say it's not as big. It's more. This is how it is. It's very much like direct, I guess, and like almost
Mm.
more real. Like, yep, in real life, we would just have like the animals would have just dropped a boulder on the robots and there wouldn't have been a big forest fire, or and then like the
Okay.
tree
Yeah.
buildup, like you've got the forest fire and you've got the big tree that they've been talking about the entire movie. Like that part's not in the book. That's to amplify the moments in the movie, which is completely fair and it's amazing. And I love that they both tell basically the same story, but in almost completely different ways.
Hmm.
Like Peter Brown's original book, he very much pulled from the places he grew up, and which is cool. He's from Maine, so that was cool. And I actually got to meet him because
Oh.
one of the bookstores of the local chain that I work in, he did a signing there, and so I got him to sign my copy of the
Oh,
book,
that's
which was really
cool.
cool. But he did a little demo about how, because the original book has pictures in it, which is really cute, and he did a demo of how he drew the character. But as he was talking, he got asked like, "Oh, blah 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 movie," and he goes, when they asked me if they could do a movie, I said yes. And I said, this is in your hands now. You do what you want with the movie. I'm not going to tell you how to do it because you all know what you're doing. And I think that's
Hmm.
really cool. Um,
Yeah.
that he like wasn't controlling and he was just like, you know what? This is out of my hands. He's like, I'm not a director. I'm not an animator. I'm not going to tell you what to do because you know what's best in to do that. You would know how to do that better than I. And I thought that was really cool. He's a really chill dude. He's really cool. But it's so cool to see two pieces of media tell basically the same story but different.
Yeah.
And I think it's been confirmed they're making a sequel, which is
I
cool
think
because there's a
so.
second book. And the way that movie ends, like
Yeah.
the book ends, so slight spoiler for the book. But it basically follows the same movie, so you know kind of how the book doesn't have that ending with like Bright Bill finding Roz again. It ends with her getting in the ship and flying away. So you don't know
Oh.
what happens.
Okay.
You're like, whoa, wait, you can't end the book like that. Like she's like, I will come back, and then she gets on the ship and leaves, and then it's over, and you're like, wait, what? So like when I read that book before the movie, I'm like, how are they gonna do that? Are they gonna end the movie like that? And they didn't, which that's fair because they weren't sure if they were gonna make a sequel or not.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm pretty sure Peter Brown knew he was writing a sequel. so he could end it like that. But it was kind of like, I was like, is DreamWorks going to be brave enough to do that kind of ending? And like they had a whole other book that they could pull from. They had two
Yeah.
whole other books. There's 3 books in the series, so that's fine. I'm not complaining, but it would have been very interesting to see them end a movie like that. But I don't think you could end a kids movie like that. Like the kids would be like, "Mom, what? what?
Yeah.
What? They didn't get to hug each other at the end. There's no happy ending."
The completely different type of ending, but Robot Dreams sort of like it's completely different type of story. So it's not the same ending at all, but it
Uh
has
huh.
a similar vibe where there's not the type of closure that you normally expect in most
Yeah.
American movies.
Yeah. And I think like, like I like different endings for different things. But I am glad that there is more Wild Robot because
Yes.
that would have been like devastating if that was like the end of the series and he never wrote another book. And I'd be like, that I would have had different questions for him when I met him. I'd be like, who do you
Yeah.
think you are? Ending a book like that. But yeah, I would highly recommend the book, especially seeing the movie. I think that it's really interesting, kind of as a study to see the different ways that the stories went,
Yeah, definitely.
although it's telling the same story. And yeah, the voice cast is great. I love Pedro Pascal as the fox. I was kind of surprised because I don't know if I've ever seen him do a voice before, like not act in live action. And I was very surprised how animated he was. Like you never know with a celebrity how much, even if you think they're a good actor,
Hmm.
how much they can get across in just a voice.
Yeah.
And I really was happy that Fink got to have a big role in the movie, and that he got to, like, he had so much emotion and so much, and like the voice cast did amazing
Yeah.
with every little thing they did. And I love Lupita. She's amazing.
Yes.
I want her in everything. Put her in
Yes.
every role.
She has such a good voice.
Yes, I loved, like, I love the range she gave. Like as the movie carries on, she starts becoming less robotic sounding. I love the
Yes.
scene where she's talking to the other robot because she's doing like the beginning of where Roz started and now where Roz is.
Uh-huh.
And she's just like this exasperated parent, and it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was my number one. So I think we
Yeah.
probably have a good idea of what your number one is.
My number one has one in the title.
Yes.
It's Transformers 1. I had a hard time. Like, I was like, wow, Robot or Transformers 1. It's funny because they came out within a week of each other. And I'm like, frankly, how dare you
It was the
shower me
summer of
with.
robot movies.
Yes, it was so great because I work near a theater. So that's not helpful. Like, it's literally next door. And I'm like, this is amazing because they like do a cheap Tuesday. So
Yes.
I was like, all right, am I going to go see Transformers 1 or Wild Robot again? Because I don't know. But yeah, no, Transformers 1 just it just wowed me how good it was. I already was expecting to look good from the trailers, like, and I was like, even if it's not great, I'm still gonna love it because I love Transformers. And I think the thing I had the biggest, like, oh no, how well is this going to go out, is when they announced the voice cast and they're like, Chris Hemsworth is Optimus Prime. And I'm like, what? What? Chris
I did have
Hemsworth is
questions
Optimus
when they
Prime?
announced the voice cast. I was like, why are they okay,
And
whatever.
they're like, Scarlett Johansson. And I'm like, all right, Scarlett Johansson, no offense. Like, I think you're good at what you do, but
It just
I
seemed
don't
like
think,
odd choices for a Transformers movie. Not that
yeah,
I'm a
you're like,
Transformers expert, but it just seemed odd to me.
when you think Optimus Prime, you think big booming, like voice, like
Yeah,
commanding voice. You think Peter Cullen, right? You
yeah.
think if Eeyore decided to be like tough. So, so I don't think of Chris Hemsworth as having a big booming voice. He's got a low voice, but he's not really a big booming voice guy. I don't know. Again, I'm not a big celebrity as the voice actor. I honestly, the one thing I was okay with, like when they announced, I was like, I will always take Keegan Michael Key as anything. So I was like, Keegan Michael Key is Bumblebee. Yes. You know what? We've had silent Bumblebee for too long. I need a talking Bumblebee, and Keegan Michael Key will be perfect, and he is perfect.
And that's another one that I was like, really? Okay.
Yeah,
But it
like
worked.
it works so well. Like, oh my gosh, he's so funny. It's just, I love Keegan Michael Key, and he just brings so much energy and lovability to Bumblebee, where Bumblebee is almost on the verge of being the most obnoxious, annoying thing. But he's so endearing. Like, you're just like, oh, well, this guy.
Yeah, the character was one that, like, if they'd gone too hard in one direction, it could have been annoying. But they
Yeah,
walked a fine line and they made it.
exactly. Yeah, no. I remember, oh my gosh, like John Hamm as Central Prime. John Hamm, you are the best at playing the worst. I remember him showing up for the first time, and you're like not supposed to know he's evil. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy is, he's evil. He's the worst. He's just the worst, and he gets worse and worse, and you don't think he could go any worse, and then he does. And you're like, oh my gosh, man, you are the worst. Like, there is no redeeming factor to him at all. Like, you think, oh well, maybe does he have a sad backstory? Does he have one redeemable quality? No, nothing's redeemable about this man, and you kind of cheer when he gets torn in half. And then you're like, wait a minute, Megatron, you're shooting civilians now. Maybe we could hold up on that. I was on board until you got to this point.
It is nice to have a villain who is just a villain.
Yeah, like, and like, it's a little bit of a twist villain, but we kind of all knew. I don't know how many people
yeah.
he was tricking. Like, he was tricking the entirety of Cybertron, but come on, they're just little guys. They don't understand. But we're yeah, like,
They're just little guys.
little guys. But yeah, yeah, he's Thor. I love I know he's not in it a lot, but Lawrence Fishburne did great as the old guy. He's Lawrence Fishburne's amazing. I love him.
Yeah.
And then Brian Tyree Henry. Oh my gosh, carrying that movie. Like, he deserved an Oscar for his role as Megatron. Like, just so he's amazing. I love him. He's great as Miles' dad. He plays a silly, weird, like, conspiracy theorist in the new King Kong and Godzilla films, and I love him in that. He's just like comedic relief, but he's great because it's Brian Tyree Henry. But he just, like, he has so much range in every single film I see him in. He's doing something completely different, and him as Megatron, like, that's like top tier as that character. Just so much, like, you understand where he's coming from, and you're on board with him, but also you're like, no, Megatron, no. we don't need to shoot everyone. We've gone too far. Like I said, I was on board until you started shooting civilians. And then you're like, yeah, get him, the Megatron. Oh no, Megatron's actually the bad guy. I forgot. And right, you're the bad guy. I forgot. Also, just a little nerd Transformer thing. I loved that my favorite Transformer, which is Jazz, got to have a little role in the movie as the guy who got caught by the rock and I had to get saved. And then, yeah, so, I remember in the theater because Jazz is in the first Michael Bay live action animated film. You couldn't tell because they're all ugly, but they look nothing like the character. But he is in that film. He isn't great, and he gets killed in that film very, like, unceremoniously and stuff. But Jazz hasn't been in it a lot of Transformers things. Like, he's like one of those characters who's popular enough that he gets to be in a few things, but not popular that he's in everything, like Bumblebee or Optimus Prime. And he's kind of like under the radar, kind of like, if you start getting into Transformers, you might know who he is, depending on what thing you get into. Because, again, he's not into a lot of things. But I like that he was in this movie. I thought he was going to die. I was going to get mad. But he didn't die. He just lost a leg, but now he's fine. And I know they said they weren't going to make a sequel, which is really a bummer because I think, like, if they just made more of that, I wouldn't need any more Transformers anything. Like, I would love a Transformers 1, 2, or Transformers 2, or I don't know what you would name it, but
Just call it Transformers 2.
yeah. Transformers 1, 2. Transformers 1, 2, Electric Boogaloo. But I think that like it's the best Transformers movie. I love a bunch of different Transformers movies for different reasons, like the original '80s movie, which isn't great, but I love it. I love Bumblebee. It's a really good movie. Very different, very ET style girl meet alien kind of thing. I love Rise of the Beasts. It's very messy, but it's a lot of fun. But Transformers One is just like perfect. I don't think there's anything like it's just like even as a Transformers fan, I think it's really good for people too because like they don't expect you to know things like a lot
Yeah.
of, and they don't
I mean, I
I think
didn't
that
know
there's
much and I liked it, so.
yeah, like I think there's some things that like jazz, or like you can look in the background and be like, oh my gosh, there's RC. Oh my gosh, Chromia, who looks nothing like Chromia usually does, but but you're kind of like, you as a Transformers fan, you could be like, oh my gosh, I know that person. But as a non-Transformer fan, I think like they don't expect you to know things.
Hmm.
And I think that even you can get certain things, like you can get more enjoyment out of specific things if you don't know anything, because you'd be like, oh no, who's this Megatron guy? Like if you don't know who Megatron is, like, could you imagine like not knowing that he was going to portray Optimus before the
Mm,
movie began or something like that? That like that, and you hadn't like seen a trailer, like you're a kid and you're just like, this is
hmm.
your introduction to Transformers. That would be so cool, and I think
It
that's
would
really
be.
cool.
Like I knew, like I know the
Yeah,
characters enough that I knew that this was coming, but yeah, if I hadn't, that probably would have been one of those like devastating twists.
yeah, like you'd be like it's already devastating because of how they play it, and like
Yeah,
you'd become really invested in these two characters like relationship. Like they're such good friends, and I think that's really I love what I love about this movie is that they really allow the characters to develop, and you really get
yeah,
to see their like relationship, and it really like it knows that it's a Transformers film, so it's gonna have your thundercrackers and your iron hides in the background, and you can be like, oh look, it's them. And oh, I get that reference, like when Lito One tells Optimus he doesn't have the touch or the power, which is a reference to a song in the original movie where it's Optimus's theme in that movie, and it goes, "You've got the touch, you've got the power." And so she tells him don't have the touch or the power, which is a reference to that. So people wouldn't know that if you you didn't know that. It's a fun nod, but also they're just kind of like we also have stuff for people who wouldn't catch that. It's not, and we will take time. We're telling a story. We're not just references and action scenes and stuff. Like we're going to take this movie seriously, even though it's about convertible toys, and it's basically a marketing scheme if we think about it. But
I mean, these days, what movie isn't?
exactly, yeah. But I really appreciate that about this movie, that it took time and care to tell a story as opposed to just, oh, look at that cool robot, I like that robot, and I'm watching that robot fight that robot, that was fun
Hmm.
kind of deal. Which I do think that there is also value to films like that as well.
Hmm.
As a King Kong lover, I love King Kong, and I don't need King Kong to have big feelings. King Kong can just punch Godzilla. It's like, honestly, like I think that like the Peter Jackson King Kong does a lot of emotional stuff, and that's really cool. But I don't watch that movie very much because it makes me very sad when King Kong dies. So, the poor monkey died. He didn't really do anything wrong. He just wanted
Yeah,
to go ice skating. But yeah, like I think that's really cool of them to do.
yeah.
I could talk about Transformers One all day, but we won't. We won't do that.
Oh, that's fine. That's it. It was good, and I'm glad that it was your number one. I'm glad
Yeah,
that for at least the people I've talked to so far, everybody's had pretty different number ones. So
that's cool.
it's nice that there's a variety of opinions that
Yeah,
we're
it's not.
getting this year.
That's because Spider-Verse didn't come out this year again. So otherwise, we would have all known what our top three are.
Probably, hopefully.
Oh, I'm so hopeful. I'm so scared because like I feel like if the third one's not good, the unfortunate effect is the second one will probably go down in my opinion because of how it ended.
Uh, yeah.
See, DreamWorks was smart. They didn't end their movie like that. They're like, maybe we won't get a sequel. Supposedly the third one's still coming, and honestly, I'm glad they're taking more time because with all the stories
Yes.
behind the second movie, that's just wrong. I am also like that fan who's like, give it to me now. I mean it
Hmm.
now, but I can wait. I may
Yeah.
be, in my 40s by the time it comes out, but
Hopefully
I'll be a
not.
happy 40. I'll be a happy 40-year old.
Well, thanks for joining me for these top fives.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad this worked out. I, I'm glad we got to do something, even though it wasn't our usual entire list. But I did not really have time this year to watch as many as I have in years past, and
Yeah.
I'm not even sure I will by the time I finally put out this episode and do an actual full ranking just by myself. I have a very long list of ones that I want to see, and I don't know if I'm going to get to them all because there were a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I think like I didn't watch as much anime movies from last year as I wanted to, but I'm glad I watched the ones that I did
Yeah.
because I think they're some of the best movies I've watched, and some of them have become like top tier. These are movies I will continue to watch
Hmm.
for a long, long time on repeat, like Wild Robot and all of them. And I think that what's nice is that they're all very, like, they're pretty different.
Yeah.
Like, Flow doesn't feel like Transformers 1, and Wild Robot, even, well, similar to Flow, they feel different. So like if you're in a mood for a specific movie, you don't have to be like, oh, well, this one's the better version of that. This is the better
Hmm.
action movie. I'm going to go watch this one, and I'm probably not going to watch this other one as much. But I've seen Wild Robot and Transformers 1 a bunch of times now. And like they don't diminish as I watch them, or I don't find myself being like, oh, well, why watch Wild Robot when I can watch Transformers 1 or vice versa?
Yeah.
Because I just, if I'm in a bit more of a peaceful mood, I'll go watch Wild Robot. And if I'm in a more, hey, let's go watch some fun action that I definitely won't cry over, but I will cry, but not as much as Wild Robot. Wild Robot makes me cry a lot. Then I'll go watch like Transformers 1. Or if I just want kind of more of a silly movie, that might not be so emotionally devastating, I'll go watch like Ultraman Rising or Wallace and Gromit, and I still get like fun and a very different viewing experience than any of the other films.
Yeah, definitely. I just realized I don't really have a lot of silly movies near the top of my list this year. I mean, I haven't watched a ton of movies from last year yet. Like, I didn't have a lot of time to watch a lot of movies last year, but most of my, like, I guess all of my top five are, like, they're not funny, but they're a lot deeper than, like, I feel
Uh-huh.
I normally would have. I usually feel like I have more silliness, and I don't have a ton of silliness.
I feel like last year a lot more deep movies came out though.
Yeah.
Like there's been, obviously, media ebbs and flows and stuff, but I think like the year before, I think there was a lot of silly movies, like a lot of comedies were coming out,
Hmm.
or like comedy action or the like. So I think like maybe 2024 was the year of thoughtfulness, big
Maybe.
thinks.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at the other movies that I saw last year. I think my number one favorite movie, it is a comedy, but it is also deep and emotional as well. But Thelma, if you haven't
Oh,
seen Thelma, you should. It is so funny, but it is also emotional and really great. It's just an all-around amazing movie. It probably was my absolute favorite movie of last year. I have some that are like kind of tied for first, but they're all so different. But I think
Yeah.
if I was forced to pick a favorite movie from last year, I think I would choose Thelma, which is the one about the little old lady who was scammed and she goes out for revenge.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that sounds great. Yeah.
Yeah, it is such a good movie. It's very funny, but it is also pretty deep as well. Emotional.
Yeah. I think if I had to pick like favorite movie I watched last year, I think it'd still be like Transformers 1, just because
Hmm.
I think last year was a lot of catching up I was doing. So I'm like, I haven't seen that movie that came out like 5 years, 4 years ago. I watched a lot of 90 films too. I'm like, you know what? Like, or like films that like I had heard about and people were like, it was kind of a thing people watch. And I was like, everyone's kind of seen. And I'm like, I've actually never seen that. And that one kind of intrigues me. Like, I watched iRobot for the first time. Terrifying movie. The CG is so creepy with those creepy robots. But like, it was all right. I liked the robot bits, even though they terrified me. But that's kind of because I like the actor. So I'm not biased or anything. So I think like most of the movies that I saw that came out last year were animated movies or at least animated hybrids like
Hmm.
Sonic the Hedgehog 3, just because that's kind of what I gravitate more to, especially if it's coming out in theaters. I'll be like, if I'm going to watch a movie in theaters, I'm usually going to watch an animated movie just because I'm like, I'm more guaranteed to enjoy that movie than a live action film.
Hmm.
Just because if the story is not very good or the acting's not great, at least I might be looking at something pretty. That sounds so rude now that I said that a lot. I'm like, well, at least I'm not looking at ugly real people. At least they're. I remember I was explaining a television show that I watched. That's like a comedy drama. Come up. Dramedy. There we go. That's how you say it. And I'm like, it's so weird because it's not usually my thing. And I'm like, I got it. It's an adult cartoon, but I can look at the people because I don't like cartoon art styles a lot of the time. So I'm like, now that they're just boring people, I can enjoy like the adult cartoon aspects because they don't look like yellow Cheetos or weird cardboard cutouts or something. Like they're just normal people, but
Hmm.
yeah, so I do like people. I like real life. I don't only like animation. People can be pretty too. It's not as pretty. I think I saved myself there.
Yeah. Well, I think that is all we have for today for our top 5 animated films from last year. I'm sure we will both add to our lists, but
Oh yeah.
for now, that is what my top 5 are.
Awesome.
So, thanks for joining me. We will probably talk someday in the future again. I know you're super busy these days, so it won't be as often as we have in the past, but I'm glad we were at least able to do our top 5 animated films from last year.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you.
Well, until another time, do you want to let people know where they could find you if they'd like to see more of your work?
Sure. You could follow me over on Instagram at Katie Draws Things. I haven't done a lot on there recently, but you can definitely look at my backlog. Some things I'm still proud of, some things I try not to think about, but you can definitely check it out over there.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining me, and I'm sure we'll see you again sometime.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to iHeart Animation. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and follow my co-hosts as well. My link tree and all of our links will be in the description below. If you want more of my content, all my podcasts are available on YouTube as well as most podcast platforms. If you enjoyed this show, check out one of the other podcasts or check out my Patreon for bonus and extended episodes you won't find anywhere else. We'll be back soon with another brand new episode, so thanks for listening and we'll see you next time.